has been paid for by
the ENN podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Sports.
Can you feel it? Can you feel that excitement?
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
And I'm telling you, if you let Eli Manning walk into that stadium and make you look stupid and get a Giants W.
Music.
Wow. Whoa. Shit.
And more.
What's his next book going to be called? Spineless?
Mike.
What's up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wild back with an actual live stream that works, or so it seems. What is going on, everybody, on this Sunday where the weather in the Northeast is absolutely disgusting? As Memorial Day is tomorrow. Big Play Slay, how you doing? Unicorn Films, thanks for watching. Yes, 1,000, 2,000, let's get it, let's go. We are almost to 2,000 subscriptions. Now, before I get into the awesome 76ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to talk a little bit about why it's been so long since I've had a live stream. It's probably been a couple of weeks now. And full transparency here, as you see, powered by StreamYard. Obviously, all my other stuff that would be on the screen is not there because this is the free version of StreamYard that I'm using, and I'm using it because I had to make sure that it actually worked. About a month ago, I switched over to Melon for streaming. I got through one stream and it was pretty good. I was pretty happy. Obviously, I paid for the Pro Edition. And then I tried to get on probably 10 days ago, and I kept getting an error. YouTube API would not respond. I searched everywhere for the solution, couldn't find it. Emailed them, still have not seen a response after 10 days. So I am back with StreamYard, and again, I will have the advanced version for better live streaming as we go forward. But I definitely wanted to get with you guys on this Sunday, May 30th, because there's some Eagle stuff I want to talk about. But before we get to the Philadelphia Eagles, I absolutely have to cue something up real quick. Let's get this going, guys. Those Philadelphia 76ers yesterday, big win against the Washington Wizards in the NBA playoffs. Now, look, I have not done a lot of 76er stuff on this page, and basically because my basketball knowledge of the way the game goes, the X's and O's, if you will, is not up to par, so I don't really want to disrespect the sport, but I am a huge 76ers fan, have been since the Iverson days. And, man, I watched the entire game yesterday, and it was absolutely dominant. And there's no way that I could do this live stream without talking about what the 76ers did yesterday. 130-103. Absolute domination of the Washington Wizards. And look, to be completely honest, the Washington Wizards are not a good basketball team. They're not. I really don't understand, Jerry Lara, what's going on. AMC King 2021. OBX definitely I'm looking into trying that as well. But the Washington Wizards are a bad football team. I'm already there, guys. Basketball team. It seemed like once the Sixers were ahead by 6 points, the Wizards were just done. They didn't play defense. But there's a guy that the Philadelphia 76ers have that is just absolutely special. You guys know who I'm talking about. And that's Joel Embiid. I mean, this guy is everything that you want in a Philadelphia athlete. It's somebody that, if you're a football fan, you watch the Eagles, you wish the Eagles had. He is just look, being a professional wrestler, he is professional wrestling. And it's funny that I say that because he was a big wrestling fan. But he loved yesterday, enticing that crowd, which seemed to be more Philadelphia 76er fans, but in Washington, embracing the boos, missing that slam dunk, and then coming back and shoving it right in their face, asking for the boos, which he said in the press conference he likes. It makes him want to play better. One of a generational talent, an absolute generational talent. is Joel Embiid. And you saw him in the first game of the series, or maybe the second, I'm sorry, crotch chopping, giving a little homage to D-Generation X. To the point where Shawn Michaels and Triple H commented on Twitter about it. And it would just be great if the Sixers could bring home that title this year. And then, obviously the WWE sends out the championship belt to all the teams that win. It's a great advertising tool by them. But it'd be awesome to see Joel Embiid with that. But they have a long way to go. Like I said, the Washington Wizards, to me, don't look like a playoff team. They're the 8th seed playing like a 12th seed. It's just a bad team. But going forward, I fully expect some awesome games from Joel Embiid. He broke his playoff record for points yesterday with 36 points, and he had 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Just unbelievable. I mean, I could go on and on. But now to some Eagle stuff. So one of the things that I wanted to do 10 days ago was the press conference from after, I think it was the first practice, Jalen Hurts, Brandon Graham. I wanted to talk about that. They said some things that were definitely noteworthy. The biggest question for the Eagles this year going forward is Jalen Hurts, and is he going to be the starter? Are they trying to trade for another guy? Can he be a special player? Some people think he absolutely sucks. Other people think that he could be an MVP candidate. For me, I'm willing to give him a chance. I think he's going to be solid. I really do. I think he's going to be able to win the Eagles 10 games if he stays completely healthy. And that's another thing. I mean, you talk about the Eagles and health. I think not only is it Jalen Hurts that needs to stay healthy, but if their offensive line stays healthy, you're looking at what could be the best offensive line in the league, absolutely in the league. And, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I really want to talk about Jalen Hurts right now and some of the things that he said.
Hold on. I'm gonna elaborate on that later.
Because he said some trendworthy things, some quotes about not wanting to miss a meal, about the rent being due every month. And I'm going to go ahead and play those clips because I still have them before Mellon screwed me over right now.
You kind of trigger something in me. Everybody's hungry because we didn't finish what we didn't do what we wanted to do last year. It didn't go the way we wanted it to. Ultimately, in the end, we didn't have the outcome we wanted. So we're very hungry, and we don't plan on missing meals.
So yeah, that was they're asking about last year. How do you feel about finishing the way that you finished? And I look at this, and there's something that I've said, and if you followed me for the past couple of years, there's a big eye test for me, and it's just what a superstar looks like, what a good starting quarterback looks like, and it never fails. He has that. He absolutely has that. A quote like that, really not feeding into the rat poison of the media, because again, he's playing like he's going to start. A lot of people don't feel like a lot of people are still looking at this Deshaun Watson stuff as being something that can happen. But he's definitely not letting that get into his psyche. And he also had this to say.
I value everything that coaches brought here. I remember back in my days at Alabama, Coach Saban, hearing him talk about discipline, commitment, effort, toughness, and pride, having these core values that he's trying to instill in the team. And in the end, it all worked out for the team. You see Coach Nick Sirianni coming in, preaching connection, preaching accountability and competition and fundamentals and football IQ, preaching all these things. And I know in all of those different avenues, all those different values and principles that we're, trying to instill here in Philly, no one is above that. And everybody got to go to work, So for me, I know rent is due every day. It's always been that way for me. Always been a get better mentality every day, grow every day, be a better leader every day, be a better quarterback every day. And when that rinse due, I don't plan on missing no payments. So it's work.
He talks like a starting quarterback. He absolutely talks like a starting quarterback. The guy is willing to work, willing to get better. He showed that when he went to Oklahoma. He was a hell of a lot better passer in Oklahoma than he was in Alabama. The story has been talked about how he got benched for Tua. He didn't let that get him down. I mean, the guy just has all the intangibles. Can you put that on the field? The Eagles definitely drafting a guy like Devontae Smith, who, if you go back in a couple of videos of mine, I show some clips of practice. They're already connecting. The chemistry is already there from the Alabama days. He just has everything. And what he said in that last clip was he talked about Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni preaching the competition and the things that he's bringing into this Philadelphia Eagles team, which leads me to my next topic, and that is Nick Sirianni. And if we all remember, and you go back, I watched his first press conference, very cringeworthy. A couple of other things he did were kind of cringy. And a lot of the Philadelphia media and national media goofed on this guy. Absolutely treated him like he was a clown. And I stood up for the guy. I said, look, we remember what guys like Charlie Manuel, how they acted during press conferences, or even Doug Peterson. I mean, that was first press conferences. These guys got laughed at, and they did nothing but win championships here. I'm not saying that Nick Sirianni is going to win a championship here, but he is slowly but surely winning over Philadelphia. We saw him in the practices wearing the different T-shirts of the guys. First one was Brandon Graham. In the thumbnail, you can see he's wearing a "They Don't Like Us, We Don't Care" Jason Kelsey T-shirt, which he knows not only is it sending a message to these young players, but also to the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, that he gets it. I think that he absolutely gets it. He connects with these young players. So far, a lot of the older vets are raving about him, and I understand, guys on the team, you're not going to down your coach, right? You're just you're not. These guys are smarter than that. You down the coach, you don't make the money, you don't make the plays. But some guys like Jason Avant, who was critical of Nick Sirianni, who is a veteran of the NFL, goes to watch practice and raves about what he brings to the team. I think he's going to be one of the unsung heroes of this team. As he goes, does Jalen Hurts. If these two guys can form a bond, and look, Nick's, I heard, and I hate to bring up, I'm not going to say I hate to bring up the guy's name because we're going to have to this season, but Carson Wentz. I was watching one of the NFL shows, one of the ESPN shows where they got, the four people talking. And one of the guys said, Carson Wentz is going to the Colts. He's going to have a better year because, look, he's with he's with Frank Reich. And we saw what Frank Reich did for Phillip Rivers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I'm not saying that Nick Sirianni is the reason for these guys' success, but he has coached a lot of comeback players of the year. Andrew Luck, was one of them. Keenan Allen as a wide receiver was another one. I mean, this guy gets the best out of the players that he coaches, and I believe that he can do that with Jalen Hurts. And it does not hurt having, a guy like Devontae Smith now on your team in that offense. So I talk about the veterans, how they feel about Nick Sirianni. Is another clip that I have in my back pocket is Brandon Graham, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl hero, as we all know, a favorite here and a veteran of this team. Actually, he is the most veteran player of this team. Here's what he had to say about his thoughts of Nick Sirianni.
It's just a younger version, I feel like, of the Andy Reid era. I feel like we got similar schedule, but it's just like more hip to the new school era, because we got a lot of competition stuff in the building, a lot of stuff that's changed that we didn't have. I love the energy that he brings every day. But I do see, he has some of those old school, things that, that work for Coach Reid, work for Doug, even with Frank leaving. Frank, I'm sure, running the same type of show that Coach Reid did over there with Indy, got with his own little twist. But I think Coach Sirianni definitely is more hip to what's going on today, just a younger version, and just want to make sure that we all are on the same page and we all try to build a family around here as we always try to each and every year.
A younger version of Andy Reid, a younger version of Andy. Like, okay, maybe that's going a little bit overboard right now. Obviously, Nick Sirianni has not coached a game yet in his NFL career. Be more careful what's going on. Awesome name. But to come from Brandon Graham, a guy that's not going to bullshit us, a guy that's always kind of wore his feelings on his sleeve, it's definitely something good. I mean, and look, one of the things that raised a lot of eyebrows for people when it came to Nick Sirianni was, okay, this guy is showing way too much excitement. Like, we get it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you thought it was a fake thing. It's not a fake thing. This is how this guy absolutely is all the time. And again, I think it's going to be, and maybe it's just me being optimistic. I'm one of the more optimistic Eagle fans that you'll find if you're a first-time watcher. I think it's going to be a good thing for this team. I think the youth of the coaching staff in general is going to be a good thing with this team. And look, guys like Jason Kelsey, guys like Lane Johnson, some of these older guys. First off, Jason Kelsey didn't have to come back. I mean, he contemplates retirement all the time. So for him to come back, knowing about this coaching staff, I know Stout is going to be back as well, but I think it says something. I think it says that this guy is not this coaching staff, not a bunch of just young guys, just young idiots. I think that these guys are going to be good coaches. And again, I think especially in today's society, having a younger coach in the NFL, it seems to be the trend because, as Brandon Graham said, it's hip to the things going on. Jerry Lawler, I almost said Jerry Lawler because I'm so used to it, says he saw KJ Wright was a free agent. Should the Eagles go after him to help our linebacking core? This is actually something that I was going to get to shortly.
Hold on. I'm gonna elaborate on that later.
But I might as well talk about it now because I want to talk about Julio Jones. The noise with the Eagles and Julio Jones is starting to get a little bit louder around my circles. So it's starting to gain a little bit of traction. As I saw in Bleeding Green Nation, has a couple sources that said that the Eagles are trying to see what that they could possibly do to get Julio Jones. Now, look, the Eagles, we all know they have 3 possible first-round picks, 2 definite, 1 that's probably going to be. But I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for Julio Jones. I know that he's going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I know that the fact that, could you imagine Julio, Devonta Smith on the same offense with Jalen Hurts? It makes Jalen Hurts a better quarterback. Basically, you really get to see what Jalen Hurts is about, and even this coaching staff, because you now have these pieces there. I just don't know if I'm going to give a 32-year-old wide receiver. And again, it's Julio Jones. I know I sound stupid saying this, but I don't know if I'm just willing to give a first-round pick for that. No, second round, all day long. And the Eagles, maybe they will do that. Now it's going to, and this is where KJ Wright comes in, Jerry. So the Eagles are going to have to free up some cap space to make this work if they were to make the trade. Now, right now, it seems like the 49ers and the Seahawks might be the front runners for Julio Jones. But that's going to bring on $15 million against this year's cap. Now on June 1st, which is a big day for NFL teams, big day for the Eagles, they get to drop a couple of big salaries. I think Malik Jackson and there's another guy I'm having a hard time thinking right now. They got a couple of salaries dropping off. That's going to free up some money. If they release Zach Ertz or trade him, that's another $8 million. So it would basically give them $16 million around that in cap space, which you would be able to get Julio Jones then, but you also have to sign your rookies and you need another cornerback. So I look at KJ Wright, and yes, the Eagles need another linebacker. It would be great to have a veteran like him in the mix. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Again, the Eagles, I would rather that money go to – now if you get, obviously, Julio, look, there's like to me, a 1% chance that he comes here. However, if you don't have Julio's salary coming in, you don't get a Julio Jones, and getting a KJ Wright, and I really think they should really go after Steve Nelson. as your corner, I think you're doing good. I think your defense is looking better, but they definitely need that other cornerback. They're going to need money. I like Julio, but they kept showing Smith, Reagor, and Quez together. That's our three. I like explosiveness better. Absolutely. Quez Watkins, not a lot of people are talking about this kid. Last year, I said that I thought that he was going to be a steal for them. They didn't use him for whatever reason until they had no other options. At the end of the year, when Hurts went in, it seemed like Quez went in too, probably because they had a connection working on the practice team together, or on the second team, rather. And he's fast. You can use this guy in so many different ways that Doug Peterson and that offense didn't. I love Quez Watkins on this team. I think Reagor's going to have a better year this year because he's going to be used in the slot a lot more. Look, I love Greg Ward. I think he's done a really good job for us. But if Greg Ward has to sit behind those three guys, I'm not going to be upset about that. Also, John Hightower. Look, the guy didn't look bad last year. He had a couple drops, big drops, game-changing drops. But again, that's all something you can learn from and get better from. And then Trevon Grimes from Florida that they got this year, undrafted. I'm going to do a separate video on him because I don't understand how he was not drafted. This kid is absolutely amazing. So we talked about Jalen Hurts. We talked about Brandon Graham, Nick Sirianni. I actually have one more clip I wanted to get rid of. Again, guys, if you're just joining me, I had these clips were supposed to be shown about a week ago. My streaming service that I was using was absolutely bit me in the ass. But we talk about Jalen Hurts, and I wonder how the vets see Jalen Hurts, how they feel about him being on this team. So what better veteran to ask than a guy like Brandon Graham, who, again, is the most tenured Eagle on this team, how he feels about Jalen Hurts. And again, these guys aren't going to give you the straight up answer, but I think you can tell something by their answer and by the way they deliver it. So here is Brandon Graham.
I think even last year he was working his butt off every day. You see the work ethic is there. You see that he really wants to be great. So, I mean, that was something that you've seen from day one, off his habits, off what he do on and off the field. But now that he's the guy, it's going to be a lot different because now the expectations is up there now. I mean, you got to keep on doing your regimen, which I see he's doing. And I think he's having fun, man. I think when you know you the guy, it definitely put a little pep in your step a little more, and you want that, and it builds that confidence that you already have inside you. But it grows even more now that people believe in you.
Great stuff. There he talks about Jalen Hurts' regimen, about like when you're the guy, things change a little bit more. So the fact that he said that, when you're the guy, that tells me he thinks, and probably the rest of the team, that Jalen Hurts is definitely the starting quarterback for this football team. Again, you hear the rumors about Deshaun Watson or about the Philadelphia Eagles possibly trying to get another quarterback in here. I heard the most crazy rumor probably I've heard all offseason, maybe since I've started this show. As everybody knows, and I can't wait till I upgrade this so I can show you the pictures, but as some might know, Aaron Rodgers has been vacationing. Aaron Rodgers and his wife have been vacationing with Miles Teller, Hollywood actor, and his wife. They've been vacationing, pictures, videos all over social media. Why would you care about this as an Eagles fan, right? Well, Miles Teller is a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. Huge Eagles fan. So you put two and two together. I heard that Miles Teller was trying to recruit Aaron Rodgers onto the Eagles. And again, just insane rumor, crazy. It's obviously, do I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle this year?
Hell no.
It's not going to happen. It's not. Maybe on Madden it might happen, but not this year. I just can't see it happening. Which brings you back to Julio. Julio wants to win. Apparently, and I don't believe this for a second, apparently he did not know he was going to be on that phone call. I agree. Rodgers is a diva. I absolutely agree. But he didn't know that Shannon Sharp was calling him. Apparently, he didn't know that was going to be done live. I don't believe it. I mean, there's so many FCC. There's laws that are broken and wiretapping laws. I don't believe it for a second. I don't not that Fox would let that happen without them knowing. These guys are on a delay. It's live isn't really live. So the producers or whatever could have ended that at any point. I don't believe it. So with that being said, guys, that's pretty much my sports stuff for today. I want to give a quick, as we're coming up to the half-hour point, I want to give a quick a little speech, I guess, about what May is. May, as we're about to leave in May into June, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is a big thing. I think mental health, it's just as much, if not more important, than your physical health. And me doing what I do, being a wrestler, physical health is everything to me. And I didn't realize it until a couple of years ago that mental health is as well. You know, you go to the gym, you try to eat right, you try to get big and strong. But the biggest muscle that you have is right here, and that's your brain. If what's going on in there is not right, then you're not going to be right. And it's definitely something that I had to pay attention to. I never thought that I had any kind of mental issues. I mean, you know, growing up in the era that I grew up as, especially as a male, you know, you're told to control all your feelings, keep all your feelings inside you, and just kind of be a man and weather the storm and keep moving forward. And that's all nice to say, and it sounds great, and it probably looks good on a t-shirt, but you know, it's not really true. I mean, keeping feelings inside is definitely something that is not, I don't advise, but I did forever. You know, if somebody said you need to see a therapist, or, you know, I would shoot it down and I would take it personally. But it's not something to take personal. I've been seeing a therapist for 2 years now, and working on getting my brain strong, doing some stuff called neurofeedback, which basically they take a map of your brain and show what points of your brain need to work on, just like you would going to the gym, working on a bicep, you know, or working on your back, your shoulders, or your legs. It's the same thing. You got a leg. I've got a leg day. I've got a day for arms. I got a gym day for the rest of my body, and then I've got a day for my brain. And that's how I think about it. And, you know, it unearthed a lot of different issues that I had. I always thought depression was, you think about depression, and I always thought that depression was being sad. Like, that's what I thought. I'm not, you know, I always just thought it was like somebody with a dark cloud over their head where it's always raining. Like, you think of that cartoon, dark and gloomy type of, that's depressed. Like, that's a person that's depressed. Like, you could pick them out in a crowd who was depressed. Who looks the saddest? That guy's probably depressed. And that's the biggest misconception of them all, because it's not true. Depression comes in so many different forms. You might see somebody that you work with that is always happy, always upbeat, always positive, and they're probably they could be the most depressed person in the building, and you would just never know. And I always thought depression meant sad, and that has a part to it. That's a form of it, but it doesn't always mean that. You know, it's you know, I struggle sometimes. Not that I'm always depressed, but there's some days I wake up and it's just hard to get out of bed, or hard to get going. You know, and I look at that and I go, well, maybe I'm just fatigued, but it's really a lot of mental fatigue. So it's definitely tough. I deal with it. I don't know if anyone's listening to this, if it helps to know, but I mean, again, the therapy and working on my brain really helped. And I would definitely advise that to anybody that's just feeling some kind of way, or maybe you just, you know, maybe you just look at it and you go, I might be fatigued. I might get up tired. I might just, you know, be tired of the same thing every day. Really talk what's going on, but it doesn't hurt to get help, I guess is what I'm saying. It doesn't hurt to get help. It doesn't make you any less of a person. If you're a guy, it doesn't make you any less of a man. And, you know, that's the way I feel. And again, I talk about depression. I dealt with it last week. You know, I had a show. Wrestling is back, so I'm starting to gain more bookings, which is why it's tough sometimes to do as much work as I want to on this channel. And it was hard. Wrestling's a passion. It's not hard getting in the ring, but looking at myself in the mirror and not really liking the way that I looked, and then trying to push myself even harder physically, no problem here. But here it was an absolute struggle. Some days I wake up and this might be, some people might feel what I'm talking about here. You wake up and sometimes you wake up with your shoulders slouched, you might sit there, it might take a minute to get up. And I do that all the time. And I was like, man, something as easy as sitting up from bed and putting your shoulders back with your chest out. It made it better, easier to get up and to move forward, putting your chest out like you're ready to take that first shot that life gives you, and you're ready to kick life in the ass the rest of the day just because you have your chest out. And that's what I did. And again, it powered me through this week. Memorial Day being tomorrow is a big thing for a lot of people. And I think it should be, because, I have a brother that passed away that was in the Army. I always think about him whenever it's something military goes by. I always think about him and how lucky we are to have freedom to, be able to get the help that we need. I mean, God, there's so many third world countries and so many different places where people that struggle, they're just left to struggle. And I think we live in a great country where we can, like I said, go out and get the help that we need. And if anybody out there that is watching ever has any questions you want in confidence about mental health or about therapy or about just anything, if you're just even having a bad day, my Twitter is @TheChrisWild. You can DM me, chriswildwrestling@yahoo.com. You can definitely leave me an email, and I would love to help, because again, it's a real issue. Mental health is a huge issue, and you just never know. You never know who's going through something, because again, depression is impossible to pick out in a crowd. It's absolutely impossible. And with that being said, guys, I hate to leave on such a negative note, but mental health can be positive too. And as a sports fan, we know when the Eagles lose or something goes wrong with one of our teams, we are absolutely in the dumps, right? The next day, when the Eagles lose on a Sunday, that week, I'm angry most of the week. But again, it's not a bad thing. Anger and emotion is not a bad thing. It's just how you control it. You don't let it take over. However, as I said in the beginning, today is not a day to feel bad if you're a Philadelphia sports fan. Actually, just the opposite. As I said, those Philadelphia 76ers giving us something to cheer about. Joel Embiid, generational talent, maybe one of the best Sixers of all time. Maybe one of the best Philadelphia athletes of all time. With that being said, guys, everybody, please have a great Memorial Day, even if you're on the Northeast and the weather is absolutely horrible. Find something nice to do. I'm about to have dinner with my family, and I hope you guys can find something tomorrow, maybe a good cookout, or watch Super Bowl 52. Always works for me. With that being said, more content coming in the next couple of days, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds, and I'll see you later.